Welcome. Welcome to Soul Talk with Sandee M. This is a talk show about our skills, our spiritual talents, our spiritual gifts, and how we use them in our everyday lives and in the lives of our community for service to others, meaning service to others as consciousness, the wholeness. Therefore, if we're serving others and service to others means service to self, wellness, wholeness, completion. And we have a very, very wonderful guest. Yes, I think he's wonderful. I'm going to introduce him now. His name is Empera Epheru. He's a light language activation and artist. And we're going to talk about how he brings that to his community. Soul awareness, soul opening, spiritual awareness, whatever you want to call it. It is service to the community. So let us begin now with bringing him in. Welcome him in. All right, here we go. Hello.
Hey, how you
Welcome.
doing?
I gave you a brief introduction, but I would love for you to introduce yourself. Uh,
Okay.
because as we know, some spiritual people take on spiritual names that the divine gives them,
Mhm,
and they do not
mhm.
use their given name or their birth name. So I want you to introduce yourself. I know him as Emperor Epheru, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we are, hey, Houston, we are a go. So
Well,
and explain, just give us a brief uh, we don't have to go into detail about your spiritual awakening unless you want to, but we're
mm,
talking about your gifts and talents and skills that you learned were spiritual
mhm.
and how you use them in what we consider everyday life, right?
Right,
How you take them and you integrate them.
right.
So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you and gratitude for having me because it's just an honor to be here and to be able to be given a platform to talk about my spiritual gifts and abilities. It's a huge honor, and I am very grateful, especially to be in your platform, in your space. Now, my name is Empera Epheru. I am a light language primordial music maker. That's not the way I wanted to say it. It's more like I'm looking at it. I'm reading it right now. I make ancient primordial music using the ancient primordial language, which is light language,
Right.
and I discovered this that I had this ability when I was a child. I would playing around, talking to myself, talking to entities that I didn't realize I was talking to entities. So I would be speaking in different languages. I wanted to rap so bad, but I didn't know how to rap, so I would rap in this language. And it was something that I did as a child, and as I grew up and I started getting more back into spirituality, and I met people like um, a woman named Allie West, and she told me, oh, you have spiritual gifts, you have spiritual abilities, you can heal with your language, you the only one that can rap in light language. And learning that I'm an activator now, I've activated the rapping within her light language, so that's an amazing thing. These are, trading ideas and uh music creations. This is how I discovered my power and how I have the ability to heal through music, not just with the light language, but also with the instrumentals that I create.
Well, with the I understand for me, the light language. How do I put this? When I was about maybe 12, the divine wants to come through. And that's why I notice I'm always trying to clear my throat when the divine wants to come through and speak light language. But at the same time, I'm trying to I'm trying to speak words, right? Um, when I was about, I think somewhere between eight, no, probably about 10 and 12, I went to a holiness church, and it was the first time my my physical ears heard my true language. I'll put it that way. Back then it was called tongues, speaking in tongues. And when I was at, it happened like at the end of the church service, and we were standing up to finally go, and this lady just broke out in speaking in tongues, and I was mesmerized. I was just it was kind of like I was mesmerized and carried back to a place that was so very comfortable to me. And I remember telling my friend that I went to church with, I'm going to speak like that one day. And I just remembered her looking at me and just kind of smiling, not necessarily a smile like, yeah, yeah, okay, but a smile like, yes, you will, right? As if it was the divine speaking through her. Now, that was like 10 years old. And literally, my light language came through, I'd say, most recently, in the last 4 years, where it actually, I think at this point, I'm ready for it. He'll be right back. At this point, I'm ready for it uh, to happen and understand it and figure out how I'm going to use it in my everyday life. And everyday life for me, guys, is that welcome back. Everyday life for me, guys, is where I came from. I came from being a physical being and a mental being, but now I'm incorporating my higher being into that practice, right? For me, for you, how did you begin incorporating your the skill of your light language into if you could go back and say into your everyday life? Okay, I'm having the word is that most of us spiritual when we have a spiritual awakening, we try to skirt over being human and go directly into that spiritual world and stay there. But we were meant as a spiritual being to have a physical journey and be part of humanity. So in order to be part of humanity, we are, I believe, we're supposed to use our spiritual gifts to expand humanity. How do you feel about that? And if so, how are you using your spiritual gifts to vibrate or resonate with the human aspect of your growth and your expansion in 3D?
Well, to be honest, I feel like when we come into this human experience, it's all to evolve. The purpose is to evolve. And that's what I use my language for, to assist with the evolve, with the evolving of the spiritual being, the God within. You know, it's the same as like when I was learning, getting into my spiritual learning about spirituality. One of the main things is that I've learned. One of the main things that I've learned is that it's you either come here to learn or you either come here to learn to get up out of here. And so
Okay.
so it's all about evolving the mind, and that's what I like to do with my light language. Now, when I realized that this is how I wanted to use my language, that I could actually use my language like this for music. Is like I said, I had met Ali, and she told me I have a future in music. And I've always been making music. I've always been writing music. I've always had a unique way of approaching music. I was a rapper at first, and I didn't it got to a certain point where I wanted to rap about something more meaningful. I didn't want to rap about just anything anymore. So I started getting into consciousness, and I started rapping more conscious. And then what happened was, after I met her and she told me to use your light language in your music. And I said, okay. Because the voice, once the throat chakra is activated, that's powerful enough alone. But when you involve that ancient primordial language, I hope you guys can still hear me. My dog is scratching her neck. Um,
No, that's okay. We love the conscious animals. Yeah.
Yes, yes. She's very spiritual. She's a familiar by actually.
Uh-huh.
Um, but she told me use the light language and your music. And as I was using the light language in my music, I've noticed that it became more powerful. It became more uplifting, and so the more I did it, the more I evolved with it, and the better it got, to the point where after I actually made an entire album. I thought it was a light language album, but it was just little increments of light language in it. And and after I finished that album, Spirit was like, okay, make a light language album. An album entirely of just light language. Do it just like you did with rapping, except with light language. Make them the light language version. So that's exactly what I did. I wasted no time and I got straight to it.
Mhm. Okay.
And what happened is that not only that, but there was this thing that me and Ali did where we would uh, do light language videos and remixes of other people's music, and or old school music. And what I found out was that when I was doing light language renditions of songs like from by artists like Tupac, DMX, Biggie Smalls, what was happening was, because those songs were made in dark times, with me using my light language, I was transmuting the energy from dark to light.
Right.
Now, this wasn't something I just came up with and said, yo, this is what I'm going to do. Somebody actually said this. They inboxed me personally, said, you are transmuting the dark energy into the light energy,
Mm.
turning that energy that they were using that was low frequency into high frequency. And
Do you think I asked this question because I always thought that Tupac was very high frequency. He
yes.
was very, he was, Miko Takeyama. High before he was thought of before his time,
Hmm.
you know. When and I wanted to say when you were, I think you were channeling actually. I listened to that one. That was one of the maybe
Yes.
first ones that I like kind of went into and was like, whoa, and felt that that's Tupac. That's the spirit of Tupac channeling through Epheru. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it kind of went. It was like one of those things that pulled me in, right?
Hmm. That's
You
amazing.
know,
That's
amazing, amazing. Can you tell the difference when you're channeling? Uh, when you're channeling, whether it's old school or what do I want to say? Old school hip hop, not hip hop, rap, or see there's old school rap, and then there's the gangster rap and the different various raps,
yeah. Yeah.
right? Can you tell when you're channeling um, through that vibration, or not vibration, through that how you're taking it from a lower level vibration
Hmm.
into a higher level, kind
Can
of.
I tell?
Do you can you does it resonate with you? Can you feel from your higher being and your body, mind, and soul as merging, as you're feeling that as it's happening? I've just always wanted to ask that question of you,
Hmm.
right?
Um, To be honest, at first, no,
No.
I could not tell at all. And what happened was, well, let's say this: I couldn't tell because most of the time when it happens, and I'll admit this, I smoke marijuana, and what marijuana does is it helps you tap in
Mhm.
sometimes, or most of depending on who you are.
You're right.
So what happens is, one time, the first time I even found out that I was doing this, and this was Tupac. uh I was working on a song, and this song I didn't write. I just wanted to rap it from my heart and from the top of my dome. And I was smoking at the same time to get some inspiration. And
Mhm.
because that's what you use these substances for. It's not just to pass time, it's to use them to create. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are just indulging in it to just to
To pass
talk
the time,
pass
just
the time,
yeah,
go and create something afterwards, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Um
My youngest son
mhm,
writes, and he produce, or at least he used to, because before he
mhm,
became dedicated to taking care of family right
mhm,
now. But yeah, so he would dabble in his
mhm,
little smoke and think mommy
mhm,
didn't know, think I couldn't. But I would, actually hear him, and his friend would have the notebook, and sometimes when I'm cleaning the room, I go and the book's open and I just read it and I just go, oh, is this what they were doing? And
mhm,
actually I didn't even know that I was tapping into that
mhm,
vibration,
mhm.
because they were, I don't know,
Yeah.
16.
So, oh, I'm sorry. But to answer your question about, I don't know if this was the question that you were going to ask. Well, let's finish. I'm gonna finish this. What happened was, later on, I started to notice that, like, when we have these certain movements that we don't control in our body, it's like an embodiment has taken place. And what I do is, before I do anything, sometimes I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I know when I want to embody, but I don't know who I'm embodying.
Ah, okay.
So I would just, one time, that time I did look at Tupac, and I was like, okay, because I have his poster on my wall. I don't know
Hmm.
if you see it,
Yeah.
but, and what I did was, I take a deep breath. It don't take me much. I just, and then it's just there. The feeling is there, and then it's like I have a different mind, or it's the same mind but a little altered. And then I just go. I say what's on my mind, and that's what I discovered over time. It's a form of embodiment. Yes, it does. I did feel it over time. At first, I didn't know what was going on. Somebody had to tell me. It was like, "Nigga, you channel Tupac." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And
Right.
then I think the video that you're referring to, when you actually hear it, I think, was it the song "Changes"?
Yeah, I think so.
That song I was actually instructed by Tupac to do.
Ah, okay.
We got a channel, and I had help with this. I was it was interesting. I'm not sure if she wants me to share this, but Allie called me one time, and she was like, "Raven, I've been listening to a lot of Tupac lately, and this and that, and I've been in this mode and going and going." And she started playing the songs that she was listening to. I'm like, "Oh, I remember I was listening to that when I was in high school." Da, 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 da. Then out of nowhere, he came through
Mhm,
her, and was like, "Look, I need y'all to do this for me. And
mhm.
then when y'all do this, I will come through." I didn't know that he came through until you said that.
Yeah, because, mm, eh, the divine, the divine is Tupac. That's just it. The wholeness of God or Almighty or whatever anybody's labels are, is the divine seeking itself as itself through us. And just because Tupac in physical form is no longer here, Tupac in the spiritual essence of the consciousness of Tupac is still now uh, uh, giving the wisdom and information through us, and
Hmm.
you can hear it a lot in a,
Yes.
and it's not just one. performer or one vocalist or one what do you call it, a musician or writer. He's a muse, or he or the spirit that was Tupac is this muse to continue the elevation of evolution,
Yeah.
shifting and evolution.
Yeah.
So I hear him a lot
Yeah.
in especially in instrumental music,
Mhm.
especially, you know.
And yeah, and he was, yeah, just to answer your question to earlier, he was very vibrational. He was very vibrational. It's just that he also understood that you have to play both sides in order to be able to play, in order to be able to to survive in this game and in this system that they had him in the middle of. Tupac was a warrior too at the same time. And one of the things that it's funny, I'm wearing this shirt dark and light, or I'm wearing this shirt and it got the black and the white, because
Yeah,
this is exactly what I represent. I represent both sides. I remember somebody hit me up and told me, it was like, "Oh yeah, you took both sides. You took the left and the left and the right." And I'm like, "Yeah," because it's necessary. And I was just talking about this and yesterday. I wasn't going to talk about this until later, but I'm working on an album, another album, and it's going to be called Matters of the Heart. There's a song, and it's all matters of the emotion. A song, it represents the emotions of different things that I've gone through. And one of the songs that I've made is called Hate. And this song is about redirecting all of the anger and frustration that us humans have, because when we are gods coming into a human experience, we are gods with human issues. And the main issues is lacking the emotional intelligence to be able to govern yourself in a higher altitude. So you have to, that energy has to go somewhere. Energy never dies, right? So you
right.
use it to where it's supposed to go. Look at the injustice that's going on in the world. Look at the problems that's happening in the industry. People like P Diddy is being exposed for devious things, while at the same time there are other artists who have been accused for things that they didn't do at all. See,
Yeah.
it's
It's it's a it's a it's a it's a journey,
hmm
I'll say it that way, into the various polarities of this is 3D. It's we're supposed to, as higher beings, um, uh, uh, journey into higher and lower polarities. We have that opportunity. That's what gives us what we call life.
right.
Uh,
And
yeah.
and oh, I didn't want. I was hoping I wouldn't lose it. I was right. It was right. I was
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just saying that
Light and dark.
he had to. You have to take that energy and put it towards things that's like somebody's trying to, like if somebody's trying to harm you, if somebody is trying to um uh deface you or some way, form, or fashion. Sometimes you do have it, or some situations you avoid, you just ignore because you don't want to put your energy into it. And then sometimes when it comes to knocking on your door, though, you do have to use that energy to get aggressive, to get a little violent, or to get, use those lower vibrations to protect yourself. That's what the ego is all about. That's why people say, when we tapping into this spirituality, into our higher selves, you don't just get rid of the ego. You might as well just get rid of your humanity as a whole and just stand and be a hermit. But we're not doing that. What we're doing is we're putting him in his place. You come out when you're necessary. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's what he was doing. People was calling him a contradiction. No, he was protecting himself, and he was showing, if you buck at me, I'm a buck back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is, he okay, a lot of people just don't want to say it, but he came into this existence very unveiled. He knew what his higher being was, very unveiled. His
Mhm.
higher being got right to it.
He knew his name. He told his mama it was his name was Tupac Shakur. It was his name, and I got this from Rod Hayes. He
Yeah.
he he told his mama what his name was when he was a child.
Yeah.
And then while I was listening to Rod Hayes, he said that children, when they come into this world, if you wait long enough, they'll tell you what your name is. My name is Empera Epheru, mama.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm finding is what I find is yo se sena toku ate se na buane mono toku ote na. I can't say my name in English. Yung baloko
Mm,
ote e se suluku ate na ka ate o se no toku otai. La
mm,
kuanda e se suluku ute e na te upote na toba
yeah.
hande. Ma akua ate e toba e se that the name that my mother gave me in English is the vibrational resonance of my name, Sandee. I was my name was supposed to be spelled Sondra in the hospital when the administration when they spelled it, they thought my mother, we can't see it. They thought her handwriting was wrong.
Oh.
And so they changed the O to an A, right?
Hmm.
Right. But the name, the vibration, Sandee, Sandee, was the name.
Hmm. Wow.
That's all that's all I was ever supposed to be named is Sandee, but it's not Sandy, it's Sandee,
Oh, wow. Okay, I got
right?
you. Now I'm with you. All right.
Okay, so
That's a beautiful name.
Sondee, Sandee.
Nora kieta rokotoro yasha yato sono.
Madokatia na kioso senatokuana Sandee. But it just all and my mother was I just believe until this very day that my mother was my spiritual guide, and she was also gifted to be my mother. So I made I came in unveiled for certain things, but there were other things that I came in very veiled at because I was the expectation of living a human incarnation was the most glorious thing any of us higher beings could do. It was the whole purpose was to shift and to evolve and do it in human form,
Hmm.
right? And
Right.
so now the the some of us come in less veiled because we have a calling, right? And the reason why the divine said for me to do this and do it on YouTube, and it's a soul talk with Sandy M, is because we've got to go back. We didn't come forward out of the quote unquote life, the polarity life, to ascend to. We have to go back because we have a vibration that we have to allow for earth consciousness to shift and humanity to shift, and that's our light quotient that we have in us. So
Hmm.
the reason why I'm doing this is to find out how all of us vibrational beings are giving back to the world.
Hmm.
I use the air quotes because we look at the world outside of us and we think it's where we came from. We don't have, oh, I woke up, I don't have to go back there. That's that. But the for me, it's our gifts, our gifts and our talents and our skills that become vibrational that we have to give back.
Yes.
That we have,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
Even if we don't think they understand it, even if you have a lot of people like pushing back saying, well, light language can't be a thing because in science, light takes a certain amount of time to go out, and when it comes back, they try to break it down
Right.
and kind of, and I because one guy asked, it was on TikTok, and everybody else was going, "Oh, that that vibrated with me," and and thanking me. And there's this one guy. Well, that's not like language. That once upon a time that was called speaking in tongues. And anyway, speaking in tongues is, if you think about it, the science behind it. It takes so many light years to get to wherever it needs to go in the godly realm. That how can you be speaking it, right? And I say it because that's how it sounded to me. Even though he was writing it, that's how boisterous it was. And
You can hear the vibration.
yeah, I had to take a moment, and my ego that was giving me that perception of this gentleman was, you want to react. And then I took a moment and I said, I'm not going to react. Who am I now in this moment? And then my higher being said, we are going to allow him to have that perspective. Why? Because he's having a human experience. He's a higher being having a human experience of, just like you said, the opposite of the higher polarity. He's having one of lower polarity.
As
And
above.
right. And that way, if he doesn't have or access this lower polarity, how is he going to ask himself another question? How is he going to move forward? You can't move forward unless you come from backwards. There's no forwards if there's no backwards,
Right.
right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so it like it was. I finally went, oh, it's not a dig on me, so I don't have to take it personally,
Mm-mm.
right? I just have to go, okay, let him have what he says. I don't even have to respond. You know, I don't have to say yay or nay. I just have to go, you know, okay, right? So where are you with that? I mean, I know what I like about Instagram is Instagram, they allow you to like it. They don't
Mhm.
have like a thumbs up and a thumbs down like on YouTube,
Right.
right? So when you get people who have their responses to your light language and your music, and how it vibrates, how it resonates from you, how it vibrates to them, and then what their response is, how does that work for you?
Well, the thing is, my work is for people that is trying to elevate
Okay.
themselves spiritually. It's like, well, one of the teachers that I used to listen to a lot. One of the things that he said is I'm not doing this for the human in you. I'm doing this for the God in you. And if you and it, I don't take it personal anymore. I used to take things personal, but see, it's a learning experience in this spiritual journey to learn how to not take things personal. Once you understand yourself and you understand others and you understand they are a reflection, but what their problems with you or their opinions that of your art or your work has more to do with them than you, which means that's the level of consciousness they're on. So if that's the level of consciousness they're on, you let them be there, or you can give them something that make them want to elevate. And even then, they might still be like, I don't hear that shit. It's okay. You don't pay it no mind. Just like you said, you don't pay it no mind. Don't give it no energy, because then that'll just give him the opportunity to bring you down, to bring you lower. Then
Right.
I have you thinking like, oh no, he got me messed up. He got me thinking. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna stay in our higher mind and our higher selves, and
Right.
just focus on the people who are being elevated and who are being inspired and who have the ability and the magnitude to allow. Are you open enough to allow? And that's the thing about my music. you know people people I could play something, a light language song for somebody, and if their consciousness is not to the point where they can receive it, even if, and you don't even have to be that, it could just be your heart space. Your heart got to be open enough in order to be able to receive, to feel the benefits of it. That's
Right.
how it works for all of this stuff, Reiki, anything. it you have to be able to allow, and or just not in a mind space of control.
Hmm.
or you're trying to control the feeling. And I had that thing too. I had a problem too. I was trying to control things, even when, just you clenching and not knowing that you're clenching is you trying to maintain some form of control subconsciously.
Right.
So I said all that to say, um, I just focus on the ones who can receive.
Right.
and
You
and
can,
they say it too. They say it too. All of the fire emojis in them comments, that's real. That's
yeah.
real. All of it.
Yeah. I get that quite a bit, you know, that they'll come back. And the thing is, I'm never expecting, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I just, when the divine says talk, I talk. When the divine says sing, I sing, in light language. That is something that the divine is working on me through, because my higher being loves to hum and loves to vibrate song. And I find myself doing it a lot, especially when I'm walking my dog or
Mhm.
whatnot, or near trees or leaves or whatnot. Um,
Third eye is open like a mug because that when you hum, you're opening your third eye.
yeah, it's like, yeah. So my and the divine is kind of get constantly, yeah, constantly like, okay, I want to, here I am, here we are, we're having this human experience, use me more, use me, more. And okay, well, I always think it's for me to use the divine wanting me to use it more to help others.
Hmm.
Do you find that the divine is saying, use me more to you to help you?
Help me.
Yeah, in your growth and your expansion. I mean, it's like for me, with like you said, the throat chakra, my throat chakra, I didn't start having throat a close of it until my mom passed away.
Mm.
Okay, so I had a very open throat chakra while my mom was alive. My mom was, I would just ask questions and drive adults, especially adults in my church. I grew up Baptist, always asking questions, always driving the church or the pastor's wife or Sunday school teachers nutty, because I was always asking, and yeah, nutty, right? And they would always say, and that was my mother's name, and you need to tone her down. You need to, kind of. And my mother would always go, well, what question did you ask this time? And, we'd said, and I'd say, well, I asked about this and this and this. And my mother would go, have you got your answer? And I go, no. And she said, well, what do you want to do now? And I would say, well, maybe if I go to a Methodist church, maybe I'll find the answer there. And she says, okay, well, what time do you know which church you're going to? And I'll say, yeah, my friend and I are going to go to XYZ church. It's around the corner. It's about an hour. And she says, okay, you can go. And I would go. She would let me and my friend go to the church. And then when I would come back, she would say, well, what did you learn? Oh, I learned that it's not that way there, but they would translate the Bible a little bit differently. I'm almost at my answer, but not quite.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
So she was always like, okay, go ahead and ask the question. Or
She
she
was
would
just,
say, well, maybe don't use this word, ask it again and use this word, kind of
yeah.
like, you know. So all the way through about my 30s, I was given kind of this very spiritual permission through my mother to ask those questions. And then when my mother passed away, it kind of closed off,
Mm.
because I didn't feel that I felt that my protector, at that point was gone. I didn't know that the protector was within me, you know.
She made you feel safe enough to speak your mind and ask the questions that nobody else was asking.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, you know, kind of, that kind, especially like I'm 67 solar returns. So I grew up in the 60s. I was born in 1957. So I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the 70s where children were seen and not heard. And even sometimes not even seen when the adults started gathering together and having a party, children were in the other room and the door was closed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, when I would hear something, I would save it for my mom and I said, well, I heard so and so say this, this, and this. That didn't sound nice, that kind of thing, or why did this music sound this way? And, or, that kind of thing. I could always
Good
ask.
question.
Yeah. Especially when the music started to change, my mother was still around in my 20s when music started in the 60s and 70s. Music, there was still inferences. There wasn't the word pussy or any of those certain words. There were still lyrics that led you to understand that a man was having a relationship with a woman or that a woman was having a relationship with a man, but
Right. Wasn't so vulgar.
it wasn't so vulgar. And
It was
that
creative.
yeah.
They had creative. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when it started to change, my mother was still around for me to ask, well, why does that sound so offensive? And then, she would break it down to me, why I didn't vibrationally like it. She wasn't using the word vibration, but she was using, well, maybe you're hearing it in, maybe the words themselves have a different reference. What do you think about that? All of that to say this, when the actual words, because you still deal with music and actual uh, lyrics and words, right?
Yeah.
It's not just all light language,
Right.
especially when you're moving through the lightness and darkness of music and
Right.
bringing light to dark music. How does that? How do you? mm, how do you? How does it reference with you? How does it move through you in the octaves that it moves through, from conscious mind to body, or from, yeah, to spirit, back from spirit, maybe like the filter, through the body again and back to the mind? Does it work that way? Does it go from like left to right, from conscious mind or unconscious mind, through the body, through the octaves of the body, into the higher being, your inner being, your inner beingness, and then back out? Or how does it flow for you?
Okay. So I want to make sure I answer this right.
Or
So
is there even that type of flow?
the flow. So you're asking how does are we talking about the light language or are we talking about just rapping and writing in general?
Rapping, both rapping and writing in
Okay.
general,
Okay.
as you started that process, and then as light language started to flow into it, and kind of like light language, you interpret it from dark to light,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Transmuted.
Yeah, transmuting, there's that
Mm-hmm.
word.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I think I know how to answer this. What I was taught at an early age is to never force anything.
Hmm.
So that's, and I didn't realize that he was teaching me this. I don't even think he even realized he was teaching me this, but he was teaching me how to use my unconscious mind to come up with my music. He was teaching me how to use my divine mind to make music. So I would never force it, because forcing it is using your brain and using what you know and logic, and then there's pulling from the ethers. There's pulling from the ethers, and how you do that is that you wait for it to come. You don't just, and this can be just going by the trees, going to the park and doing your thing, just being, and
Hmm.
then it just comes. It comes like that. It just falls into the consciousness, and then you put it in physical form.
Okay.
And so that's how I That's how I transmute it. And with light language, since it's the language of the soul and can only be tapped into when your heart is open to a certain vibrational frequency, then you have it's not going to be dark. It's going to always be light. It's always going to be love. So when you are um when you are embodying the energy, so like for an example, when I was remaking that music in a light language form, I was actually rapping like them. I'm flowing like them. I'm in their flow. So I'm in their energy a little bit. But
Mm.
I'm at the same time I'm using light language. So I'm pulling from the divine because I don't just think about what the next light language word I'm going to speak. It just comes and it comes out. That's the divine feminine in me. That's the chaos that comes in, and
The
it gives me the
creative
ability
chaos.
it gives me the ability to flow,
Right.
and then while I'm in their flow and I'm pulling from the divine, I'm in full synchronization, to the point where even though I could be rapping the most egregious of songs, but I'm transmuting that song
Right.
into love, into light,
Okay.
and not just darkness and low vibration.
Okay. Got it.
I hope that answers.
No, no, that answers both questions at the same time.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, I mean, it's kind of it's actually I am very open to that because that happened to me today. Um, um, I am not learning. I am transmuting between uh, uh, conscious, subconscious, conscious, my body and my higher being right now through some things in my body. So I've been kind of like, I don't know if you noticed, I haven't been doing my readings and various things on my Instagram, but that's only because I had to take those moments to kind of come in alignment.
Hmm.
And not that my light language had stopped, it's just went internal. It went internal for me. So, to clarify, to cleanse, to help, for wholeness, for that the gift of health will move through my body the way how I was born to have it move through my body and that thing. So I hadn't been doing a lot of light language uh, posting because
Hmm.
the divine says no, we're not going to the and I remember this, I was on my way to sleep, and I was saying, I feel like I'm letting humanity down, or
Hmm.
humanity and earth consciousness down. And the divine said to me, you we can never let them down, but you do have to, if your body isn't in alignment, then it will take you longer to become in vibrational alignment with what we need to say or do for for the greater good of all,
Yes.
right? And I went off to sleep with that. I just kind of, I went to sleep with it. I didn't wrestle with it. I kind of woke up kind of going, ah, okay. And then it happened again. Last night I went and I actually cried myself to sleep because I felt like I was letting people down that were used to my page, that were used to, and here's the thing, used to my light language. Did you hear the word my? As possession, right?
Mm.
Mm, not the I and I, but the little my. Where does that come from? That comes from the ego saying my, but it's not mine, right?
Mm.
So last night I just kind of just not full out cried, but sobbed myself to sleep and said, well, when am I going to be open again? You know, and I just heard this voice, this, and it's really sounded like my mother. It's like, we got you, right? Just, we got you. You know, you're not alone. You're not alone in anything, right? And then this morning, I went outside to walk the dog, and there was nobody around. And I mean, nobody. It was just silence. I could hear the trees uh, just vibrating. I could hear the trees saying hello to me. And then all of a sudden, I heard this voice say, "Turn on your phone." And I just turned the phone on, and, you know, everything, you know, and just, it just moved and flowed, like if, you know, there was the divine moving and flowing, and the divine just speaking. And when I was finished, the divine said, "We got your back." Right? "We got your back." And post that. Don't think about it. Don't think about the lighting, you know. And I posted it, right? And it was like, oh, it happens when I'm in the divine's flow. When I'm in the divine's flow. I, the flow, and I. And I went, okay, right? Now I've got another question for you. You can translate your light language and your music. How does that happen for you?
Well, what do you mean by translate?
I've heard you before actually do words, or do a compilation of words
Hmm.
from the light language. Not how does it happen? What does it feel like?
It feels like flow state. Because to be honest with you, I'm still haven't gotten to the level where I can interpret it, but the intention is just as strong as as me knowing what I'm saying. So I can jump from light language to English words because I know the intent, and then the light language just be that much more powerful.
Okay.
So I will bounce back and forth between my English, yeah, I'll say physical words and then my spiritual words. And um what I do with the physical words is that is me letting you know what my intention is with this music. I
Ah,
mean, well, with this language. That's how I do it, and how it feels. It just feels just like it feels like flow state. So when I do my tarot readings, uh sometimes in the beginning of the video, I will speak like language. I will
mhm,
allow the spirit to speak through me,
mm,
and then that's what you're talking about. Then that's when I would talk about the message. I would talk about the reading.
yeah.
So, and what I learned over time, and somebody had to put me on. This somebody had to let me know, like, yo, did you know you channeled Shango? Do you know you channeled Oya? Do you know you're channeling other people while you're talking? I'm like, oh, okay. So even right now, probably during this interview, my brother was probably talking half the time.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's how that works, and it's all in flow state. Like last night when I was doing my live, I would say I'm about to get off, and then 30 minutes later, I actually get off because I'm such in flow. It's the spirit has something to say,
Say, right.
and sometimes English words don't do it. Sometimes you have to speak.
Ja, portaria si sulla kuku. Ja, tätä iu tuuti si tai. Bochena te ki kwala hia. Si ono to ti na ti ono ko ali mene de do to ko te ki ma ta ka pa ta
You
ki.
know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Baba de ki ma manda ku uti ese sono ku uti nata hi samoto ku, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It just flows.
Mm.
So, and you feel that energy. You feel that energy. There was some grounding. There was some love. There was some uplifting, and that's what my energy encompass. I hope I'm saying that word right. I don't use it a
No,
lot.
no, encompass is the right word. Well, encompass is it's the right word. E toku ante ki potoshi shia no toku u pate e shia sundo toku u. Te shu shia na toku u tia na tu takia moto chia na te e. Tu shia na toku a. Shia no ku a. Nei mandaki amada. It's a blending. It's a blending. Body, mind, and soul. Soul, body, and mind. It's a blending. It's everyone will not blend. But just because a lot of them will only be body and mind does not mean that they don't have a light quotient. Does not mean that they are not giving to earth consciousness what earth consciousness and humanity need to shift and expand. Whether there are people who are on the lower spectrum of the polarity, they're still living life, and they're still giving energy. It's just not as much energy, but the whole thing is they are living life. Now, hey, do they live life? Their bodies die. Their higher being gets to go back and say, I want to do it again because I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I figured out what being in a human body is. I'm going to go back and try this again. Yes, that's an infinite possibility. Do they come back a little bit more? Do they still come back veiled? Possibly. Do they decide that they want to come back? You know what? I don't want to be veiled in that area because I already got that figured out, right? Um, you know, um, this will help me know that what I need to do next if I'm unveiled in that area because I already figured out how the human persona acts in this situation.
Mm.
For you, do you feel, or have you sat with your higher being enough to feel that you've got these these inter intertwining concepts, human concepts of you that are helping you in the next in your in the process of your awakening? Does that make sense?
I feel like. Let me hear the question one more time. Just.
Okay. I believe the last time we had a conversation, you were dealing with entities when you were small. You were more awakened and more comfortable with entities when you were smaller. Do you feel that that's one of the areas that you were already awakened in that helped you grow and expand in other areas? Is that better with using
Yeah.
that example?
Yeah. Actually, that's interesting. I have always been tapped in. I have always been awakened and have always had these gifts and abilities. The thing is, of course, they didn't get stronger until I gotten back into them. It's just like I've always had them, and it's like the more I got older, the more powers kept started, or no, let's say this: the more I started taking my spirituality more serious, the more the power started coming back. I can do so much. Like I have, I got, I have light language writings. I have all kinds of stuff. And let me see.
Ah, yes.
I don't know if you felt that or not,
Yeah.
but uh, it's so these things. I was doing that when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to, I was creating when I was a child before I even knew that I wanted to be a creator. I was creating, like, people, they say my name is my government name, but my birth name, the name that my mother gave me, Raven Patillo Dews. I would write on a closet and rewrite my whole name just because I ain't like the way it was spelled. No, I need this, I need that, I need a couple of Z's, I need, you know.
But you know, when I was looking at your email, looking at Raven Patello, your last name, two T's,
Two L's.
two L's.
It's a it's an Italian name.
Mm-hmm.
Sicily. If you want to it's, yeah, it's Sicily Italian. Um mm,
Mm. And it's fi is it mogoteki motochi na you see no to fiesta forte is forte. Your mother was given that vibration. It may be your government name, okay, but that's only because that was this is the time period, and this is the story, but that vibration of at least the one yeah no divine has corrected me of the whole name was vibratorily given to you so that you could play with it.
and and the thing was, I would be. It's funny you saying that because I used to be upset. Like, why do I have two last names when most people just have their father's name? And I'll get up like, did you have something against my dad or something like that? And then it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with that. It was more so, it was just like they weren't married yet, and my mom really wanted me to have the name.
Hmm.
So I ended up having two names, Patillo and Dews.
Mm.
So when you say that, it just further confirms this wasn't by accident. This was not by accident at all. So it also makes me think like, okay, yeah, you're supposed to go back and save the family, but I was thinking it was more so on my father's side. It's actually on both sides. So because why else would I carry both names? Is I have a job to do, and
Yes,
I'm doing the job. I've helped my mother tap into her spiritual gifts. She sees spirits at the job that she works at. Now she knows why she works at a home care where there's a lot of old people there who need help, and she don't like her job at all. The hours suck, the coworkers there are terrible. And yet she is the light of that place
yeah,
because she actually saved somebody from dying. That man was choking and dying, and he was on his way out. My mom put her hand on his lap, and he rose back up when he was on his way to check out. See, with me hovering around going, hey, yo, mom, this, that, and that. And she has this really, she appears to be not interested, but this whole time she's still soaking in that information. And now she's asking me questions like, okay, well, what about this? She's talking to me about her experience. I'm breaking generational curses on this side of the family, as well as on the other side of the family. I'm talking to my father, and I'm helping him understand, hey, that spirit that you're running away from, that's your spirit guide. You should probably stop.
yeah, yeah. Right.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And what that did was that helped him tap into the spirit more. Now he sees things a little bit differently, and when we talk, I hear the understanding and
right,
the
right.
growth. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
And then the more you then working from within your generational the generational story that was kind of given to you for you to expand and have growth. My next question is light language activation. How
mhm.
did you know that you activated other people. I mean, I found out, people would come back and say, "You activated me," and I would go, "What?" Because I just thought that, I was giving. I thought that the divine was moving through me as this vessel, speaking to other individuals, speaking to their soul, right? And the soul, because I don't translate a lot. When I do translate, I'm talking. It's really flow. I'm in flow state when I translate it. If you ask me to repeat it,
Yeah.
what the translation is, I couldn't.
Right.
If you could say, Sandee, could you say that again? I just couldn't, right? If the divine speaks and then the divine translates, because that's what it is, the divine is translating. It's not my ego translating that. It's the divine going in and finding the words that are within me, using the words that are within me that vibrationally translate for for the collective, or for even earth consciousness, or for humanity. Then those words, the only time that the words get remembered or said is if I actually have to type them
Yes.
in a post. And that's the only way they get saved, because the divine is typing them in a post and I'm posting it. But if I'm just going with the flow and you say, "Could you go back and repeat that again?" It's like, nope, you're now you have to really sit down at the seat of your soul and ask your soul to translate that for you,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing,
Because it's
right?
there.
But the first time, and someone had told me, "Yeah, you're an activator." They had to actually, I don't know, I think it might have been Root to Crown or Melissa on my Instagram, and there was one other person. I think her name was Lula. Her name is Lula, not was Lula, is Lula from Instagram. That actually went, "Yeah, you're an activator," you know. And another young lady by the name of Olivia. They said, my light language just started flowing the moment you started speaking. And
Right.
but it's not like I sat down and had a conversation with the divine and said, "Okay, give me the 411 on everything I'm doing," right? I said, "I have always been this way. I'm an open vessel. I don't ride the fence. Either I'm all the way on one way or all the way on the other way, as being open to the divine, and however the divine moves, right? you know Except where there is realizing that I have just as much ability to move in and out of higher states of beingness, or not beingness, the polarity. In order to find a higher polarity, I sometimes have to ruminate in the lower polarity. If there is an up, in order to get to the up, I have to start at a down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in
Yes.
order to get to the right, there I have to be a little bit more to the left. That kind of thing. That's why with politics it doesn't move me anymore, because there is, just as there is a negative polarity of Republican, there is a negative polarity of Democrat. They play both sides of the mirror, and it's about where you want to play in. For me, I've sat at the seat of my soul, and my soul has told me, "You have an opt-out key." And I went, "What?" Right? Okay, what is it? What is it? Where is that key? And the opt-out key is our free will, because the stories, each and every one of us is going to have a story that we have a right to uh, to play out, because we are higher beings with the designs to have a human incarnation. And we have all the it's just like you and I, at some point, our higher beings, your higher being and my higher being, were sitting up in the ether saying, "Hey, we're going to meet up, And when we meet up, we're going to talk about our, we're going to already be in our spiritual divineness of light language, and we're going to bring this. We're going to collaborate and bring this to the physical world. We're gonna come out. We are the higher beings coming into the third density. My mother used to say it. It is you are. We are bringing. What is it? What is the prayer? As so it is in heaven. So it is in heaven. Will it be on earth? Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. We are the heavenly realm coming into the. We're bringing the divine into the earth realm. It came as Epheru. It came as Sandee. And it's like, and on top of that, you and I came to play. So here we are sitting on, Soul Talk with Sandee M, right? And we're
Right.
playing.
Having fun.
Right. Yeah. Having fun. Now, some of our life story may not have been fun, but we had to play in it to get to shift and evolve to the next Epheru and the next Sandee.
Yes.
Right. So with that, when you okay, I want to definitely get to this part. We know that the music industry in the as our ego might bring it, the world, as the music industry is going through all these shit face kind of stuff, you know, and you're finding out all these, P Diddy this, and entertainment, whether it's the music industry or television or motion picture or whatnot. How are you taking your gifts, your skills, your talents in this industry, in your music creation, and and putting it out there? Are you recording for? Do you believe that you will record your light language for recording artists, or is it going to? Are you going to do the artistry and the recording yourself and just put it out in on Spotify yourself, or do you get what I mean?
Sort of. Uh, I am. My goal is to change the paradigm, to help shift from the dark to the light, because it's a lot of darkness that's in the industry.
Right.
And for in order for somebody to do that, you have to be in the industry. So you have to know the right way to go about things. The sound has to be a certain way. Like there's a lot of creators, and I don't mean to bash anybody or call them out or anything like that, but not everybody has that sound in order to be able to reach that platform. So I pride myself in that, but at the same time incorporating the spiritual gifts into it as well. So it's kind of like I'm like a spy. I'm sneaking into the industry, but I'm really about to kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I come off like this, like an average rapper, and with some songs, like there's a song on my album called "The Fool." That's when I actually took the time to go back, but I still put some light language at the end. And it
Yeah.
said, and one of the lines that I said was, "You think I'm spiritual? You think just because I'm spiritual, I won't talk my shit like a baller?" And what's the line? It's crazy. I can't remember. I won't talk my shit like a baller and knock that bitch from half court like an ass, but it's water. Meaning,
Yeah.
you get me? Like,
Yeah.
so the
It's it's
lyrics.
it's basically me saying I'm spiritual, but I ain't dead. Right.
Right.
So, right.
I'm still alive. Like,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
thing is, it's I'm humble, but I'm still talk my shit. I'm still toot my own horn, and I feel like that's what it takes to get into certain places and get certain attention. My
Right.
goal is to one day be able to what I want to do is I want to meet other artists like me, build a team.
Hmm.
Build a team. Let's build. So I'm not the only one. Maybe you don't have to rap in light language. Maybe you sing in light language. Maybe you have an instrument that you play that does the trick. Because when us as musicians, when we play things like the guitar, when we play the guitar.
Yeah.
I listen to Prince. Depending on what song that is, that shit healed me. It healed unhealed trauma that was inside of me. I didn't know that I needed to work on. Maybe I did, and it just didn't
Oh,
want to focus.
I think Prince was another one that was born was born fully unveiled.
Right. So we have people like Prince who will just shred that guitar, and all of a sudden you want to cry because you're being healed and you don't even know it, but you
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah.
And or people artists like a Tupac Shakur who would rap about certain things that needed to be addressed and open people's eyes and minds, and people would be like, you know what, he right. We do need to take matters in our own hands and do something about this injustice and do something about this fucked up situation and poverty that we are living in.
Right.
DMX, when he will do his poetry, and then all kinds of things like
Right.
that. There's power in that. It's ashe in that. So other people have the ashe in their piano. I can't play the piano that good, but I sure as well hell will try to make some good ass beats, and
Right.
that's what we do. Along with the guitar, I practice every now and then. I'm not the best guitar player, but I know how to utilize it to make the most beautiful sounds. But you know how to shred that guitar. You know how to play the hell out of a piano, and you know how to play the hell out of some bells. Like it could be
Right.
anything, but that thing that you have mastered is what makes you a magician
Yeah.
instead of just a musician.
It's
And you can add to what I am doing here on this stage. So this isn't just a concert, this is a retreat. And that's my
yeah.
goal. That is my goal. That is my plan is to
Jimmy
have
Hendrix.
retreats with performances that does more than just entertain you.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix was another one.
Thank you.
Yes. Jimi Hendrix. Okay.
Jimmy Hendrix.
Yeah.
Um, he coming to mind. I don't know why I can't. Papa's got a new girl. What's the
Uh,
name? James Brown.
James Brown. Yes. Yes. James Brown. Um, and it's
Marvin
just
Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
Sorry, I got excited.
No, 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 just Marvin Gaye. And when people don't know this name as much, but Janis Joplin, when she sang, every I can't tell you, I would feel all my cells just moving in my body. I mean, at first I didn't understand what it was. I was like, why? I feel like something's crawling through me. I feel like, you know, it just, kind of, and I would look to find out. It's like, what's moving? Did ants kind of crawl in me? Or are they taking over, that kind of thing? But it was when I would listen to her, and these were people that, yeah, they in their period of time, they were privy to, certain drugs or psychedelics or whatnot. But I believe it was only because they were so unveiled, you know, when they were, when they were moving, that drugs wasn't helping them to open them up. They were trying to close themselves up because they were told that they were told that they were out of sorts, that they didn't fit in, that, you know, right. It's kind of like, it's like, oh, that's not right. But the thing is, what I've learned for me, that our ego, first, you can't have an ego death, because ego is just energy that is moving between our subconscious and our conscious. It shows us what the outside, it gives us a visualization of what the outside world is. It brings it into us, and it puts it in our unconscious, and it it gives us the ability to judge it. It doesn't know how to discern it. Our higher being comes online and helps us with that. But the part about the energy of it is we are told that we are only body and mind for such a long time that when we start to have this an awakening moment is only that we start to hear and have a physical or a physical and mental encounter with our higher being that says, I'm awakening now, I'm recalling now, I'm remembering now. So what do what do you want to ask? For me, when I was sitting and having that conversation and asking those embodying questions, I was becoming not more vocal, but more the resonance of what I would hear in my outside. I would, and it wouldn't even be just music. It would be art. It would be movies. It would be, where people were. Have you ever thought why somebody decided to tell you that the boob tube is wrong for you? Right? It's a boob tube. Don't watch the boob tube. And people say, I haven't had TV for 20 years. Well, think about this. I had to actually go. The divine is seeking to talk to us in any and all communicative venues that we have: TV, music, art, film, plays, books, writers, directors, uh, uh, your doctors and it's kind of like I remember finally when my mom I used to always hear, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I used to go, well, what is that, but I finally got it. Is we complain so much about things that we complain about it, and we're inclusive about all the people that are in it. So I finally just sat back and went, oh, pick the baby up. The baby has pooped or peed in the bathwater. It still needs a bath. Pick the baby up, pour the bathwater out, run some new water, put the baby back in, and finish doing what you're doing. So finally I went, oh, not everybody in the medical industry is trying to do people dirty. There are people that are going from the inside trying to fix it or trying to heal it from the inside. Just like you said, in order to get into the music industry, you've got to play to the dark and the light. There are a lot of physicians that want to help you heal, and they're going to give you their best suggestion with, hey, you can use medicine, or we can start you on this medicine, and then identify the main ingredients in your medicine and then go holistic. But don't stop doing one without doing the other, because let's balance it. Well, the intention is I want to find that doctor there that's doing that, right? And I went, oh, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Pick the baby up, dump the bathwater out. What doesn't work for you, pour some more water in there, and figure out what works for you. And I went, oh, and I kind of went, oh, that's what that shit means. Right? That it's okay for us to live a human life and 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 enjoy the human qualities, because that's what we came here, our higher beings came here to be. Is they came here to shift and evolve in a human form. They came to do everything they wanted to do, or everything they do in formless, but they wanted to have a physical body. And I went, oh, so I can be human too, and have a spiritual existence in human form, and enjoy my two hands, and enjoy my fingers, enjoy the fact that I can wink, enjoy the fact, enjoy these things, and not really curse them, but identify when my body is saying, You need to go to the doctor because um, the this right breast or this left breast doesn't feel right. Go to the doctor, seek what is. You know, they're going to give you a label, but then at least you know where to start, where you want to, where and how you want to heal it. Do you want to use high frequency? That's another thing that I wanted to ask about the, what do you call it? Not octaves, but the H what do you call it? The
Hertz.
the hertz,
Frequency hertz.
the frequency hertz. You know, so I use that for when I sleep. I have a whole folder and I just let it play through everything. But before I start playing it, I open my, like you said earlier, open my heart chakra to be open to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With you, do you can you identify the hertz frequencies that you want to use with your light language? I know we're kind of going over. Just give me a
Um,
few minutes and then we'll close with
um,
that one.
no problem. I think I had to learn how to do it. I
Uh-huh.
had to learn how to tap in, and with a lot of this music, with this music that I do, one of the things that I have to do is I have, when I know what I, so say what I know what I want to do, because some of these songs I don't, I'm spirit led, so I don't really know how this is going to feed you. And then there are some songs where I know exactly how I'm going to approach this. And so that right there sets the tone. That right there sets the frequency hertz. My intention is like one of my friends that I was talking to, I was, his name is Izzy. He on his IG handle was like the shamanic alchemist, I think. And one of the things that he told me was that we have the ability pretty much to do anything. Like we can change the frequency of the atmosphere and say, spirit, change the frequency to 432 hertz. And now you are now in the heart frequency. See that I just felt the shift right there. Now you are in the heart frequency. You are in love frequency. So what if I was to say, okay, let's set heart frequency. Let's set the frequency to 639, and then just start rapping.
Hmm.
Then that will. I am now working on a manifestation money song, or
Okay.
369 instead of 639. 369.
639 is for health of your lungs, your heart, I use that frequency.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know them all. I know some of them, but not all
the
of them.
the fact that you said it was just confirmation, to me, that I'm doing the 639 frequency hurt for my heart, my breast, my lungs. I'm doing all of that right now,
Yeah,
and I tell you, it's a vibrational frequency. It's like every night I open my whole body to that
hmm,
healing uh frequency, and I'm
right.
just all night,
And
it's
one more thing that I'm sorry, I don't know if he was done or not.
no, go ahead.
One more thing that I wanted to address too is that when I sing a certain type of way. Now I started off as a rapper, but then I found out later that I can also sing.
Uh-huh.
And it was activated, believe it or not, it was activated by the man himself,
That's right.
Michael Jackson. Michael, and it happened before I ever found out. I was singing us. I wanted to write a song to address how I was feeling about a certain situation, and so I wanted to put more feeling in it. So instead of looking for people to sing the hook, I sung the hook myself. I know I can't sing high notes, but I know I still sound good enough to hit the right notes to harmonize on the hook. So
Right.
when I did that, I couldn't help but notice. I'm like, damn, sounds like Michael Jackson. So I would share it, and I shared it right with Ali when she was holding space on Clubhouse, and everybody was like, "Whoa, this sounds like that. That sounded like some Michael Jackson." And then later on, I found out I was channeling Michael Jackson, and then I told them, and then they confirmed it. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. It
Yeah.
would pop up on the radio. So long story short, one of the songs that's on the album is called Blue Flame. And that song in particular, I had no idea it did this at first. But after I listened to it and I used my intuition to tell what it was doing, I know exactly what it was doing. It was opening the throat chakra and the heart chakra. Because when I was singing in that frequency while singing with love. And what happened was when I played that song for other people, people throwing heart emojis, the green heart, not the regular heart. It was the green heart for heart chakra.
Chakra.
Heart chakra emojis. They're saying, I love this. This makes me feel better. This uplifted my heart. This unblocked my heart. This healed my heart. This activated my throat chakra. This activated my light language. It activates everything. And it's just
Right.
like,
Right.
so it's also the tonality of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever frequency that was, it was obviously the throat chakra and the heart chakra frequency.
Right.
So
Right.
that there you
So
go.
that and that. So in that, you just everything is just a flow state with you. I love.
Yes, and yes. One of your guests on your show, Yashua, that's my brother. He he told me at an early time when all of this was starting, when we first met, he was already adept and advanced into this spiritual
Mhm.
work. So when he was giving me a reading, he was like, okay, you gotta do this, you can do that, you can do this, you're a warrior. Also, flow state. You can tap into flow state, work on your flow state. And when I first heard that, I didn't know what he was talking about. Like
Right.
I did, but I didn't. And when I kind of had an idea, I would try to tap into it, and I'm just like, dog, how do I do that? How do I do that? Like, because my rising sign is Capricorn, so I'm a worker. I'm a damn hard worker. But you know, after you've been doing hard work for so long, after a while, you just kind of get lazy. Like, I don't. I
Yeah.
don't feel
Yeah.
like doing anything. So
Yeah.
that would happen. I'm the kind of person where you tell me to do something, I'll do it, but it'll be on my own time. It'll have me thinking that I'm lackadaisical and lazy, or
Hmm.
have people thinking that I'm lackadaisical. Or really, I just do things on my own time. I would like to say divine timing, because
Right.
when I do it, it be right on time. So,
Right.
but so I thought that I had to alter that state of mind in order to be able to tap into flow state, when really being in flow state to me is all about just being,
Yeah. Just being. Yeah.
not forcing it. And that's the thing I would try to and that's what a lot of things that I learned too about flow state. It's releasing all control and letting yourself flow. It's the reason why I had a hard time freestyling growing up. I'm a damn good rapper, and I have my moments where I'll be in the zone and I can flow my ass off. But every blue moon or purple moon, I'll be able to tap into that, because I would try to control what I wanted to say next, when really you just got to be in the flow and just go from the heart. And as I progressed, as I started getting on live and talking about my gifts and abilities and my spiritual journey, I started to notice I can tap into flow state just like that,
Yeah.
and spirit would start to talk through me.
Do you do meditation as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I try to do meditation every day, because me especially, I have so much fire. I have so much fire and creative energy in me. I have to learn this, and I had to, and this is probably why my music is so powerful too. I had to get into things like tantra and things like that to learn how to control my energy
Hmm.
and redirect it somewhere else.
Right.
So the meditation is the breath work. All of that is mandatory for me.
Right.
Tai Chi, mandatory for
Right.
me.
Right. Right. That's why I'm starting my star meditations that I do on Wednesdays. I usually do them on Wednesdays for as a group. I'm doing one-on-ones now. The divine has led me to
Mhm.
do
Wow,
one-on-ones.
wow.
So it's a slow start. Trying to figure out how to. I The thing is, I tell the divine, I'm not. How do I do ads for myself? What is that even about? How do you let somebody know? You do one on ones. I see other people doing it.
Mhm.
I've got that, and the divine just tells me, we got you.
You're doing a good job, by the way. I just want to say
So
that.
so So that's the next thing. And like I said, I took a brief pause, but I believe next week I'm coming back with everything. and
Hmm.
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be just like you said, be in flow state instead of force state.
Yes, trying to control it, release
Yeah,
control.
that's it, trying to control it. So, but this was wonderful.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. It was great. I wanted to go get a bottle of water because my mouth was getting dry, but I couldn't go nowhere because I'm so tapped in. I don't
And it
know if you
didn't make
noticed.
any. It didn't help because you would see me sipping on my water. Forgive me, but
And it's a couple of times the energy in here, your vibration is lovely. It's beautiful. Because there's some times when I was listening, I kind of got zoned. It seems like everything just kind of waiting to blur. So,
yeah, it's
this is
it,
lovely.
it's kind of like being being we were we were in flow state. That's
Mhm.
that's
Yes.
what it is. It's kind of like being in that where folks go, where athletes go. I do it so much. I get in the zone and I'm in the zone.
Mhm.
Well, the zone, that's flow state.
Yes.
Yeah, they call it the zone, but that's flow state, and it feels home. It's home.
Hmm.
It's where the feeling is so good that it's actually being the higher our higher beings are there going, we're playing, we're actually playing,
Yes.
right? Oh, we're having fun, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
definitely thank you for joining me and sharing your gifts and sharing your talents and sharing the thing is, the most wonderful thing that I hear you say is you remind people that the ego isn't meant to, we're not meant to destroy our ego. Our ego is part of us. It helps us. It's kind of like, I don't know, I feel our ego is our GPS.
Hmm.
It helps us, it points us in a direction of change. It doesn't understand that it's giving us, it's showing, it's giving us a blow by blow in linear time, because it doesn't understand the cosmic element of chaos. So chaos is the universe's natural state. It's the universe's it's the
Yeah.
divine's natural state is chaos.
The primordial waters.
Yes. And it's meant to go counterclockwise.
Oh,
It's
Lord.
Yeah, and the ego puts it in linear because it doesn't understand that it's okay for us to be in that organized kind of, deciding, oh, I want to, here I am, I'm going this way, and it's okay if I want to stop here.
Yes.
Because as soon as I feel, see, and be whatever's here, then it's going to start again,
Yeah. It never
right?
ends.
But the ego doesn't know that, because it's energy there to protect us, because it's giving us a visual of the outside world, and it's giving us linear time. Why? We're in third density. We're supposed to have linear time. Yes, the divine works outside of time, but we're here having a human experience, and human experience is supposed to be time.
Hmm.
Why? Because then we get to alchemize it and change it constantly. It's like Epheru gets to change the vibration of music that's already existed into,
To the
right,
high frequency music.
higher frequency. Yep. Yep. So
Yes.
thank you so much for being here. I am working on how to get first restream. I'm working on this.
Hmm.
and trying to figure out right now. I could not. If you did have YouTube, I couldn't do you on your YouTube and my YouTube. I'm
It's
not.
all right.
I'm
I
not
can
there
always
yet.
post it. I can always post it on mine if that's.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I figured out how to save it and send it to you. I know it's going to be a big file, but I can send it to your email, and
Hmm.
then you can save the whole video and then do it that way.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
problem.
you can upload it onto your YouTube from that. You know, upload it to your desktop and then upload it to YouTube and use exactly whatever you need to to share this. This is wonderful. I think there goes going to be so many vibrational beings that say, "Hey, I'm on the right track. I'm doing it the right way. Look, he's a confirmation that I'm doing it the right way." You know.
Hmm.
So I thank you so much for being so open and available with your growth and your expansion.
Not a problem at all. And like I said, thank you for just having me here and having this space to allow conversations like these so we can get our gifts out, so we can share our gifts and talk about our experiences, so we can allow other people to see that it's possible to understand that we we can use our gifts in any way we see fit, for as long as it's, we our intentions is to serve others, because that's what these gifts are all about. They're not just here to have for you to be selfish with them. They're here to for you to help with others, and that is how you reap. That is how you reap the benefits, and
Yeah,
whatever the benefits
yeah,
is, but to you that's what that is.
that is. Yeah, the cause, what you put out,
Right,
you get back.
right.
That kind of thing. As I was doing the study of Ra, Ra saying that there is, service to others, and then there's service to self.
Hmm.
Service to others is the positive polarity, and service to self, a self meaning that you serve self, walking on the backs of others to get to where you are. You don't care how you use other people, how you hurt other people. And that's service to self only. We know a lot of
Hmm.
people who are in that vibration. But they have just as much right to be in service to self, because guess what? It's a choice. But for me, it's service to others, because that's service to wholeness, and that includes me.
Hmm.
Right. So I just love the way you've said everything, man. Just confirmation. Just confirmation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we close, anyone, would you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can find your music, um, and everything? Would you give them the lowdown of what you're
Yeah.
doing, where you're doing it, and how they can contact you?
Okay, so the best way to contact me is through my Instagram or through my email, or probably just say my Instagram. My Instagram is Empera Epheru. There might be a little an underscore necessary in between it. And the way that you can get my music, my album Astonishing Times Volume 1 is streaming everywhere. You can go on iTunes, Spotify, and the album will be there. There is quite a kind of a dilemma with that, because on iTunes my Astonishing Times album isn't linked with my Empera Epheru artist page. It's connected. Well, no, it is, but my other music that I've made before that, it's under the name Ray Astonishing. That was my rap name beforehand, my artist name beforehand. So on
Love that though.
I
Ray Astonishing. Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, astonishing. Like, so there's no G.
There's no G. Ooh,
Right.
Ray
So
Astonishing.
yeah.
Astonishing. Okay.
So when if you have iTunes and you want to listen to all of my music, you will going to look for Ray Astonishing and Emperor Epheru. And if you just want to hear the Astonishing Times album, is Emperor Epheru. As far as the Astonishing Times light language album, you can go to my page, my
Mhm.
Instagram page, and the link will be there. It'll take you directly to all of my activations, and all of my activations are on the same page as my activation music.
Okay.
So, and it's just $10. Some of them might be 20, and it's
Okay.
real low. So, there you
Okay.
go.
And if everyone hasn't followed that, just go to his Instagram page, Empera underscore Epheru. Let's give you the spelling. I believe it's spelled Empera underscore Epheru,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's his Instagram. And then DM him and ask him where you need to go for what he's got going on. And
Mm-hmm.
follow him. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
I
Follow this.
also,
Go
I
ahead.
also, I also do tarot readings, also intuitive tarot readings. So, if you any services you need, you can just DM me.
Just DM. And if you're wondering about how you can have a light language activation, definitely go there because it's in you. Light language is the natural language of your soul or your higher being.
Right.
And also understand that you have to be open to it. He or I, we can't do anything to you, for you, or with you if you're not open to it. Okay, you're the main ingredient to everything that happens in your physical life or your spiritual life. You are the main ingredient. So if you have loved, and I know you did, this what are we going to, talk show or podcast
Conversation.
conversation, you can follow me at Soul Awakening, with Soul Awakening with Sandra. That's on my Instagram page. Soul Awakening with Sandra on my YouTube page. And then I have a podcast called Soul Conversations with Sandra. You it's it, I'm everywhere. I even TikTok, Soul Awakening with Sandra.
Yep.
And if you have a question, DM me. If you have a question for him, DM him. You can find us everywhere. We're here to serve. We really are. We're here to serve. We can't serve you unless you're open to it. All
Exactly.
right. So we are going to give you one love, right? It's called the law of one. It's called the law of one. Why? Because we're all wholeness together. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now I just got to figure out how to close it out. But I got this going. All righty. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye.